Allison, don't look. Oh my God, I'm so scared. You just gotta do it. You ready? Whoa, look at that. In celebration of the 2024 Summer Olympics being in Paris this year, I'm gonna do my take on a classic French sandwich. This is tuna cake pan bagnat. I'm César with the Food52 test kitchen. Let's make it. So the first thing you wanna do is cut your bread. Here I have a baguette. Traditionally, this is made with baguette. So let's split our bread in half. I'm actually kind of bad at this. You know what I do? I sit down. I don't have like depth perception. Because I can't see from this, the counters are low. Et voila. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna scoop out the insides of the baguette. I find scooping out the insides is easiest if you kind of like score the bread a little bit. From one baguette, you'll get about a cup of bread innards. And I'm adding that to this bowl where I also have half a cup of panko. So for the most part, this is a pretty traditional pan bagnat. My twist on it is using tuna cakes instead of straight up tuna. Also kind of invoking like crab cakes in summer. And you also don't want to like completely go to the edge, leave a little room. So our two baguette halves are scooped out. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna place them on a baking sheet, and I just wanna dry it out a little bit. So I'm gonna put it in a 375 degree oven, just for like about 5 minutes. I'm not really necessarily trying to toast it, but I am trying to dry it out a little bit, so. All right, just a few minutes, keep an eye on it. So here I have my fresh bread from the baguette and the panko breadcrumbs. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna add some milk. What I'm making right now is called a panade. And this is basically gonna be our binder. So I've got my bread, I've got my milk. I'm gonna go in with our eggs. To this, I'm also gonna add some grated garlic cloves. I've got some dried herbs de Provence. I really love this stuff because it has like marjoram, it has lavender, it has thyme, rosemary. It smells really nice. I don't know, makes me feel fancy, makes me feel French. I'm also using some fresh herbs in this recipe as well, but I really do like to combine fresh and dried herbs. I think they bring different things to the table. Oh, let me check my bread. Put that to the side. This recipe, I'm calling for 1 red onion, and I'm gonna use the red onion twice. So for the first half, I'm going to add directly into the tuna cakes. I'm just gonna dice it up as finely as I can. Our red onion is in. This is yellowfin tuna packed in extra virgin olive oil. In my opinion, this is the best tasting canned tuna. You'll find albacore, which is like much leaner, especially like albacore packed in water. Yellowfin tuna packed in olive oil has so much flavor, it's really rich. So that's what we're gonna use today. Drain most of the olive oil. It's okay if there's some left behind. Hit it with some pepper, pinch of salt. Now you do wanna like smush down on your tuna a little bit. You do wanna break it up, but you don't wanna break it up too much. You don't want it to become tuna mush. You still want some flakes in there. This is something I actually do all the time at home, especially if I don't have much, need to go food shopping. I always have cans of tuna in the cabinet, so tuna cakes are something that I genuinely really like to make. And these come together really fast. These will cook up in no time. We do have a good amount, and there's a good chance that you're gonna have leftovers. There's a good chance we're definitely gonna have more than we need, but that's totally fine. These keep really well in the fridge. Really nice the next day. I'm gonna keep it real with you. This recipe has quite a few steps and quite a few ingredients. It's not hard, but it is involved. This sandwich is really delicious and in my opinion is worth the time and the effort. If you're gonna have a nice picnic in the park or you're gonna have people over for lunch, you can pull out all the stops. So our pan is heating up. Have it over medium-high heat. Hit it with a little EVOO. And now we're gonna shape our cakes. You want these to be a nice size. So I'm kind of doing 2 heaping tablespoons full. And you also don't want to pack them too tightly because you don't want it to be dense. You want this to still feel light and delicate. Our little tuna cake. All right, in we go. These don't have to be perfect. I kind of like when they look rustic. You want to watch your heat. You don't want your pan to be too hot because you do want it to cook all the way through. Just because we have the raw egg in there, you know. It's gonna be about 4 to 5 minutes per side. It's nice to have a nice big pan like this Smithy, so I can just do them all at once. This smells so good. Remember, this step is optional. If you don't feel like making the tuna cakes, you could just use a really nice high quality olive oil packed tuna straight onto the sandwich. But I think this little extra step is really special. Nice. Remember, we didn't pack these too tightly, so you want to be gentle. Okay, as our tuna cakes are finishing up, let's talk about our dressing / vinaigrette situation. Here I have the other half of that red onion. I'm just cutting it pretty thinly. And what I like to do, just want to hold it in some cold water. You can even use ice water. But what this is gonna do is it's just gonna take some of that raw bite out of the onion. Because there's a lot going on in this sandwich. You've got onions, you've got garlic, you've got eggs, you've got tuna, there's a lot of smells happening. So I don't think this is a first date food, but it is delicious. In another bowl, we're gonna start building our dressing, our spread, our vinaigrette. So here I have some chopped parsley. I have some thyme. Got some red wine vinegar. Some extra virgin olive oil. Usually pan bagnat calls for capers. I decided to go with cornichons that I just thinly sliced. I really like the flavor on these. I'm also going in with some olives. I'm gonna do the zest of a lemon and the juice. I've also got some grainy Dijon and the anchovies. Listen, I know some people get freaked out by anchovies. You really don't taste it. It's gonna add this really nice saltiness, brininess that is kind of hard to achieve otherwise. So for the anchovies, I like to chop them up. And then with the back of your knife, you're kind of gonna just smush them. And that way it gets super incorporated into the dressing, and you're not gonna be biting into a big piece of anchovy. All right, so in with our anchovies. Hit it with some pepper. Dude, I'm so French today, even the Peugeot. Let's give this a good mix. Remember, you want this to be kind of wet. So I might just go in with a little extra virgin olive oil. Oh, let me get my cakes out. And then after your onions have been hanging out for a while, we're gonna toss them in here with everything else. Boom. Look, hard part's done. All right, it's time to assemble. Let's talk a little bit about what we have here though. So I have my hard-boiled eggs that I just sliced up. I have some green beans that I blanched. I have some tomato. Lucky enough to get some really beautiful heirlooms. Please remember to always salt your tomatoes. Always, always, always salt your tomatoes. I also have some jarred roasted red peppers. These are pretty traditional in a pan bagnat, as are the eggs and the green beans. Tuna cakes. I've got the bagnat part of this whole recipe. So pan bagnat means bathed bread in French. So you do essentially want to bathe the bread in your little vinaigrette situation. You don't want it to be soggy, but you do want the bread to soak up all of those flavors. And there is a rest time. You should let your pan bagnat rest at least 30 minutes before serving. If you can wait overnight, like I mentioned before, overnight is ideal. Hi, Paul.
Choco taco?
Yes, the Choco Taco. Get out of here. Little tip. You kind of want to waterproof your bread a little bit. And a way to do that, just with some extra virgin olive oil and a little brush. Just gonna brush some olive oil onto our bread. Not too much, but just enough to kind of create a barrier. So our bread is waterproofed. So there's gonna be order to this madness. This is my bottom half, this is my top half. Let me just switch it around. First I'm gonna go in with our onion, herb, vinaigrette mixture. If this isn't the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, I don't know what is. Some of the juice. Not too much, you don't want this to be crazy soggy. Next, we're going in with our green beans, our blanched green beans. I've tried cutting these in half and cutting them smaller. I'm gonna be honest with you, anywhere you do it, some are gonna escape, and that's fine. I'm gonna go with our tomatoes. I think it's tuna cake time. Bam. When I was a little kid, I used to want to work for Subway. I also wanted to work for Williams-Sonoma. And I wanted to work for Barnes & Noble. Essentially, I was like an old lady as a child. I told you might have something left over. This is your little Scooby snack. You can feed it to your editor. So add some of those red peppers. These do hit though. The flavor is nice. It all works together. This really seems like nonsense, mumbo jumbo. But the end result is really nice. Hard-boiled egg. I don't want to hear you saying, ew, hard-boiled egg. Yes, it's good. It's coming together. Give your eggs a little salt. Oh, yeah, a little basil. Man, I don't know what it is about the basil. It like really brings this all together. It's like so sweet. This weighs like 10 pounds. No, it doesn't. Okay, now more of this good stuff. On the other side, you see why I made that little boat, little divot? You have some left over? Great. Put this on top of fish, put this on top of chicken, put this on top of steak. This will last a few days in the fridge and actually be even better the longer it sits. So I'm gonna take this home. Now, this is the scary part.
You should go the other way.
Oh my God, I'm so scared. You just gotta do it. You ready? Now, what you wanna do is, you wanna wrap your pan bagnat in plastic wrap. This is what works for me. So now I'm gonna roll this over. All this for a sandwich? Yes. Guys, this is not eco. Allison, don't look. There's a lot of plastic. I'm sorry. I don't know how else to do this. So this is what you want, right? What we're gonna do now, I think easiest way is to just put a board on top, something heavy. This is the pan I used. Give it a little squish. Ideally, you're gonna weigh this thing down, put it in the fridge overnight, ideally. We ain't got time for that. Minimum half an hour. So 15 minutes on one side. I'm gonna take all this stuff off, flip it, press it for another 15, and then we're ready to taste, eat, and this is all gonna be worth it. All right, y'all. It's been an hour. An hour? There she is. Dang. So this has been resting, waited for an hour. Like I said, I recommend at least 30 minutes to an hour, but if you can do it overnight, even better. All those flavors are just gonna marry each other. What I like to do from here, I actually keep the plastic on. I find it easier to cut through it with the plastic. So with a serrated knife, for the purposes of television, I'm just gonna go down the middle. Whoa, look at that. I mean, she's beautiful. You could pre-cut these, obviously, before your little picnic or get-together. Has a really nice texture. You can still see big chunks of tuna in there. This is a messy sandwich. I'm not gonna lie to you. Bon appetit. This is actually fire. It looks foofy and pretentious and annoying, and it kind of is as you're making it. End result though, worth it. The texture of the tuna cake is so nice. And then just the brininess from the olives and the cornichon. The hard-boiled egg almost adds like a creamy element to it. That works really well. Y'all, I highly recommend this. Please make it. I know it's gonna take a little time, maybe on a rainy day. I promise you it's worth it. Comment, like, subscribe, recipe down below. Let me know what you think. Au revoir.